Bitcoin puts in a magnificent move through resistance, signaling the potential bullish reversal that we've all been waiting for. Cardano right now testing the same type of resistance, not yet breaking through. In this video, we're going to break down the short-term charts and talk about what Bitcoin and Cardano need to do to keep the bullish momentum alive. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in. Let's jump into the video. Bitcoin on the weekly charts. We're going to dig into the bullish reversal move that it finally, it's been a while tracking Bitcoin on the short-term charts. This was a good move. This is Bitcoin on the weekly, though. It can't be, I don't know. We'll find out in the future. But if it ends up being just this easy or obvious, I should say, and harmonious on the zoomed out charts. And what I'm talking about is this dip that happened right to this yellow line. Now that yellow line, if we zoom out all the way on the Bitcoin charts, and I charted this back in December 2018, and this was our bull market doors, this macro green Fibonacci. This 1618 I've been talking about most recently, the 1618 line of that macro Fibonacci. A very similar move happened in the middle of the last bull market to that 1618. We've been tracking this. It's obviously on kind of a larger scale. It's a little bit larger of a move, but not much larger. And we've been tracking that move. And if you look at this bounce so far on the weekly chart, you can see Bitcoin just right off of that 1618 line. And right now in the weekly, we're seeing weekly momentum from the bulls. Now, the one thing that I do want to note is, and I said this previously in the last probably few weeks, this 20-week moving average up here, this green line, likely an area that Bitcoin is going to revisit after this downtrend that it's been in. And the reason for that is a lot of people are talking about bull market, bear market, whatever. That's going to be a huge signal in terms of bull market versus bear market. And that's why we have to be patient to start calling things like the bear market, because you can't just get a 40, 50% dip and call a bear market. You have to wait for moving averages to catch up. You have to wait to see if those moving averages play out as resistance. And this is what happened at the beginning of the last bear market. Bitcoin crashed through the 20-week moving average back up to the 20-week moving average, resistance, and then we continued down, that 20-week moving average turning into resistance. We haven't even tested that. At the very least, what I've been saying is Bitcoin likely to at least test the 20-week moving average. Currently now, only $8,000 away from that, around 48,000. So let's dig into the charts. I tweeted this yesterday. This was not long ago. I said, Bitcoin is retesting the most recent lower high resistance after being rejected the other day. And you can see it, the lower high resistance right here on the screen, retesting it for the second time after being rejected. First time this has happened the entire dip. Even before breaking this area, this could be the first major short-term sign that Bitcoin has a chance at bullish reversal. And this is exactly why I use Fibonacci's all the time on this YouTube channel. It's just lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. We track those resistance areas. Once we get the break or even just some divergence on the charts, which is kind of what happened yesterday, we got the resistance there, we failed, but Bitcoin actually re-entered it. That hadn't happened any of these times. And you can see Bitcoin actually almost did, but didn't even enter the resistance and continued down. Now, yesterday, what happened is we entered back in. That was our first bullish signal. Now we have our second very short-term bullish signal, which is separation from the Fibonacci resistance area. And that's what's happening right now. Bitcoin separating itself right now above $40,000. But how's that $40,000 range going to play out for Bitcoin? We have to track that as well. But now we're in the first stage of the reversal. And what's the most interesting pattern that we have here is this symmetrical triangle. This is something we've used this entire move, this entire structure setup. And you can see Bitcoin with the breakout to the downside, the pullback that we anticipated back into the apex, right around, some consolidation around the apex, and then the breakout move. So it's the most interesting pattern. Obviously, we have the descending triangle on the screen. So let's talk about that. We want to see continued separation to the upside, but what I want to talk about now is what not to be too fearful of. And that is now, since we have this bullish reversal confirmation, the consolidation that might take place along the way. And it can take place in multiple different areas. there's two Fibonacci support areas now. And this is what we want to do. We want to flip from talking about resistance to talking about support. And this is the second phase of reversal. So swing low to this current swing high. And you can see our support down here kind of confluent with the previous resistance. So right now, support for Bitcoin, if we get a move to the downside, 37,000 to the 786 around 36,000. That's a support area to the short term. It could be a higher low for Bitcoin if it makes its move. Then we continue to the upside. The other support area that I do want to just mention is a little bit more drastic, but still in play. And again, maybe not something to be too fearful of. Swing low to swing high. And this is this dramatic swing low back here around 30,000 to this current swing high. And you can see a support area down here around 34,800 to 33,200. That's a support area for Bitcoin. Each of these support areas, one obviously shorter term than the other, can play out. I mean, we could have, boom, a bounce off that support, continuation to the upside. We could see, boom, bounce off this shorter term support we just tracked, bounce to the upside. That's what we want to see in a bullish reversal. Ultimately, we want these support areas that I just charted to move up, right? And the way that would happen is if Bitcoin, in an hour and a half or so, when this next 6-hour candle opens, we start just getting even more separation to the upside. And then our actual resistance is kind of up here in the $43,000 area or something, because those Fibonacci support areas I just tracked will be moving up a little bit. We'll probably have a short-term Fibonacci support there and probably, one right around here. And that's kind of what we're going to be tracking. Can Bitcoin begin putting in the higher low areas at Fibonacci supports? This is the first good sign, though, Bitcoin breaking through the resistance area that we've been tracking. Awesome sign of reversal. I want to pivot over to Cardano, talk about Cardano on the weekly. Just one thing I want to point out. If you look at Cardano on the weekly, Cardano obviously consolidating. Cardano suffering a little bit on the BTC pair. We can actually just take a quick look at that. You can see over the last week or so, Cardano's down. That's fine. It's a perfect picture of Cardano consolidating on the USD pair. But notice, Cardano's still above the 20-week moving average. So some type of more relaxed sideways consolidation for Cardano, even if Bitcoin's moving, makes sense, because while Cardano's above the 20-week moving average, Bitcoin, as if you remember, is actually still trying to make its way back up there. So if you see a little bit of Bitcoin dominance against altcoins as that happens, I think it makes sense in this longer term story of crypto markets right now. So going over now to the daily chart, this is where it's all happening, everybody. This is what I want to talk about. Cardano is making the move to the upside, similar through certain resistance, testing resistance that Bitcoin has already broken. But at the same time, the 50-day moving average, Cardano is between the 50-day moving average, right around $1.60, and the $1.50 area down here. It's like a 10-cent critical channel for Cardano right now, and we're right in the middle. So it's going to be extremely fun, exciting, and interesting to see how Cardano interacts right now. Are the bulls going to get the momentum to the upside, or the bears going to fall or fail in this entire region and fall back to the downside? Now, I want to dig into what it looks like. Here's Cardano. We know, we've been saying, it's just in the middle right now, even right now. Cardano is in the middle of the swing high up here to the swing low. It's the perfect picture of consolidation. And we've just been above it, below it, above it, below it. And right in there is our channel. It's the 50-day moving average around $1.60. And we have the $1.50 area right here. And we are literally there. Not to mention, we're at the apex of two symmetrical triangles. So it is a very, very critical time for Cardano. Cardano getting a slight break above the yellow line that you see here. It's that smaller symmetrical triangle. That's good. But check this out. Cardano right now testing the lower high resistance that Bitcoin actually just broke. So it's that lower high here to this swing low. Cardano making a move back up to this Fibonacci lower high resistance. Cardano has not yet confirmed the bullish reversal. And I want to point that out. Cardano has not yet confirmed that first phase of bullish reversal. We want to see Cardano break the 786 around $1.57, yes, but the 50-day moving average, potentially even more important for Cardano right now. So if we're getting the separation from the 786 right here, also confluent with this upper trend line of the symmetrical triangle. Look at all the resistance here. 50-day moving average around $1.60. If we get the separation, Cardano really needs to make a move through $1.60. If we can start seeing Cardano in the mid $60s up to $1.70, that's the separation we want to see for Cardano as we try and flip this chart around. And the chart I'm talking about is this one on the daily. Remember, this $1.60 50-day moving average, the blue line, down to $1.50. We want to see Cardano start closing candles back above this area. Even if it's sideways, we want to see support above $1.60, above the 50-day moving average. And that's what I'm watching for Cardano right now. So we're going to track it. Who knows what will happen today? There's a lot to watch on these charts, but be very, very, very careful of resistance. And it's just perfectly illustrated on the Cardano chart right now because we are in the resistance area. And on the Bitcoin chart, again, don't be too fearful of some type of just pullback, right? A higher low. It's what we want to see. You know, we have these lower highs, the story being told of lower highs. Now we're trying to flip this to a story of higher lows. So don't be scared. Don't be fearful. We get a higher low for continuation, but be very aware of the support that we just tracked. Those are my thoughts today. Let's see what happens. Maybe do a little bit of an update a little bit later. If we get some type of interesting move on the crypto charts, hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.